Bit of a break, 2 days out now. How's preparation going? How's the team feeling?
We stepped away yesterday for Thanksgiving and it broke up the week, and energy was high today, and just there's a different mentality, once you're kind of match day -2, kind of 48 hours ish out from the most important game of our season. Just again, a lot of excitement, a lot of preparation to do still, and make sure we're clear on how we go about this game, and that we're able to adapt in different scenarios. But really, it's going to be about our mentality, making sure everybody shows up, and we play at the best of our ability, which is the only way we're going to get out of this with a win.
All right, we'll start with Enrique. Go ahead. Enrique, can't hear you if you're talking.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Coach? This is Enrique from Viva Houston, and I just want to ask you how the Conferencia feeling physically after the international games, and what could be the game plan for these Sundays?
Coco's fine. Coco came back unscathed from his 2 games for Panama, so he'll be ready to go. He's used to this. He's pretty robust and able to turn games around. Enrique, I don't want to get into the game plan too much for you, buddy. But again, as I'll say over and over, we're gonna have to be our best. This team is very good that we're going up against. Maybe the best team in the league at this point. They just knocked off a #1 kind of seed in the West, and since May they've been on fire. So just a real tough task for us, but because we're home and the kind of the form we're also in, we have confidence that we can get the job done. I'm just looking forward to Sunday. Sorry.
All right, Rudy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, this is the first single elimination match for your team in the playoffs. You've been here before with the U.S. Open Cup tournament, but how do you prepare your players mentally for a game of such magnitude and maybe playing against a rival or a strong rival like Sporting Kansas City?
Well, we're not doing much different. We didn't do much different against Salt Lake. We didn't do much different when we were preparing for Miami in the Open Cup finals. We prepare the way we prepare, and it seems to be a good recipe for these guys. The staff does a great job of preparing our squad physically and mentally, and making sure we're clear on who they are, and kind of reiterating constantly who we are and what makes us good, what makes us not so good. So this is a process that's been going on all year long. So it's really about just buttoning up who we are and making sure they're clear on Kansas City's strengths and weaknesses, and then let the balls roll. Both teams know who they are at this point. No sense in overthinking it. And again, both teams will have high energy. It's going to be combative. It's going to be physical. So all those things get revved up in the playoffs. Chances are, you don't get as many chances, so we'll have to be efficient. But really, both teams are going to play the way they play, and I think it makes for a pretty good matchup and a cagey game.
And obviously, you would want to get the win in the first 90 minutes, but do you prepare for, obviously extra time and penalty? Is that something you emphasize throughout the week as well, or not? Not really.
We've all done that before. The substitution pattern. Sometimes you might think through that a little bit more as you go, but if it is tied, but really it's about us trying to win the game. And again, if that's in regular time, great. And if that's in overtime, great. If that's in PKs, great. I don't care which one it is necessarily. I just want to. We just want to move on. So then we have plans for. But it's you can't overplan because the games happen and you got to be on your toes, and that's the beauty of soccer. You have to adapt it as the game goes. Goals change games, injuries, substitutions, tactics, game state, everything is changed throughout the game. So we'll have to be resilient and adapt like we have been over the last couple of months.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Jesus, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned that there was a different feeling to today's practice. Did that come from the coaches getting the players up, or did it just come from the players? Did you feel that they themselves brought that extra bit to today's practice?
I missed that first part, Jesus. Try it again. I think it was the mentality of the players, extra juice. No, I think it's just natural. They understand it's a big game, and they're just starting to get excited for it. It's a long 2 weeks. The break is, never comes at a good time. Really, it's always a slog. And now you can smell the game, and I think that just organically gets everybody a little bit more dialed in. And focused and just excited.
The team has gotten a lot more national attention, and for good reason. Players have been on more national media. You as well. How do you still keep the team humble and still, hungry?
I don't know if that, I would say even with the national attention, it's all with backhanded compliments. So I don't know that I don't know who's picking us, or I don't buy into too much of that stuff. I would say this: it's a very good thing, right? That's part of this process for us as a staff and players, and also for the front office. Pat and Asher and ownership is to get more eyes on this club, because it has been somewhat irrelevant for a while. So I think that is part of our kind of job here right now, and winning helps that. So I think the guys have embraced it, and I don't think that they have this belief that we're better than we are, and I think that's not an issue with this team. They kind of do what they do. They don't get caught up in a lot of that stuff, or at least they haven't up until this point. And more eyes is good. I think there's a lot of players that have been in the media throughout their career. We've got some guys that have been in these moments in MLS Cups, World Cups, qualifiers, and have a bunch of microphones in their face. So I don't think it's too big of an adjustment for most of these guys.
Final question on my part. We just heard that the game is almost near sold out, and it's also the final home game. What does that mean? That throughout the season, you and the rest of the players kept asking fans, "Hey, come out to see us." And finally, on the final game, on a possibly the most important game of the season to date, it'll be almost full.
That's another sign that we're, getting back to where we need to be. I'd love it to be a sellout in May. But, again, that takes time. And so the fact that, again, we have more attention, more eyeballs, both locally and nationally is a really good thing. And that translates to excitement from a city that is, soccer fans and non-soccer fans. They like this city. It's a proud city. And I've noticed that since I've been here. And they want champions, whether it's the Astros or Texans or the Rockets. And us, they want to, or the Dash, they want winners, and so we got to do our part, and the fruit of that is that you get a packed stadium and cheering you on, which is going to be a big boost for our players to hopefully get the result.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go with Sam. Sam, go ahead.
Happy Thanksgiving, Coach.
Happy Thanksgiving, sir.
Yeah. These 2 weeks break, do you feel it cooled off the momentum that your team has got coming into these semifinals?
Well, hopefully it doesn't cool us off and it cools them off. They've had a little longer than we have had. They took care of St. Louis very early, so I'm sure they've had similar, difficulties in navigating the 2 weeks, or for them it was almost 3 weeks. So I don't know. I think it's about equal, whether or not, I do think how everybody prepares during these 2 weeks is differently, or is different, and everybody has practice in it, in leading into this with the bye weeks over the year. You have 2 or 3 to kind of practice on how to get out of this in the right way, and what does your team look like after a 2 week kind of rest from games. So we've done okay. I think we've done pretty well coming out of breaks. So we stick to our formula. They might have a different one. Who knows? I'm not sure, Sam. Both teams are hot, and both teams have a rest.
Yeah, just like you said, they took care of St. Louis in 2 games. Dynamo went to the third game to take care of their opponent. And when you look at this team, you've been here before. You knocked them out in the US Open Cup, and Sporting Kansas kind of started their season slowly, getting to their stride, and Dynamo are here. Looking at the nature of the knockout stage, is winner takes it all. How do you plan to balance offensive and defensive play, having played this game before? And when you went to Sporting Kansas, you know what the result were. How do you plan to balance that?
Well, we've looked at both, the home game and the away game. We don't put too much stock in the Open Cup game. It was a kind of a wacky game. We were down a man, and it was a tricky one. So we don't put too much stock in that. But I think at this part of the season, everybody knows who they are and who the opponents are, and you've played them enough. So there's not a lot of surprises. There'll be little tweaks, of course, from them and from us. But what was the question? What did I take from those games, or how are we going to go about them, Sam? What was the question? Sorry.
All right. Thank you, and wish you all the best on Sunday.
Okay, good. Sam. Glad I kind of half answered that one.
Herman, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
In the spirit of the holiday, it's a nice time to reflect and look back at what we're grateful for. I wanted to ask you, I understand your philosophy is I'm worried about the next step and to continue winning and going to the next round, but my sister taught me this, it's okay to take a pause and reflect back at what you've done. And a lot of our fans yesterday on our social media outlets, we're grateful for the year the Dynamo are having. We're grateful for Ben Olsen. Can you reflect on the year that you've had so far, looking at it where we're at now? We're one step away from the conference finals. And how far we've come in a year. Was this even in your wildest dreams? Or can you just talk about the reflection as you look back at the start of the year and where we're at now? Because I think it's tremendous the turnaround this club has had in the short period of time. Thank you, and good luck on Sunday.
Well, thank you for that. Your sister sounds like a wise person. I do think it's important, and we did kind of take a moment yesterday. We were off and spent it with family, and I'm very thankful for this year and for me to restart as a coach and have this opportunity again. To be kind of blessed with this team and the energy that they have brought and the entertainment value and what they've been able to do this year to entertain and win home games and build back a little bit more trust in our fan base. I'm thankful for my family transitioning here with me and that going okay. Much better than I thought it would be when you bring a high school girl from DC to now Houston and uproot her to transition into a new high school. So those are the things that I'm really kind of thankful for. So yeah, yesterday is a good time for that. You're right. But this morning, I'm less thankful this morning, and I'm more about on starting to get really fired up for this match and focused on winning games.
Good. Anyone else? All good. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll have media resources available later.